Mic check, mic check. Mic check. Is this mic on? Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. There we go. There we go. That's a lot better right there. That's a lot better right there. Okay. Okay, it's Mr. Follow Up. I'm in the building. You know why? I don't know why I ain't give me a chance, the option to upload my thumbnail. Or maybe I overlooked it. But yet, here again, we making progress, baby. Try to wait for a minute. I see zeros. I don't know if that's working properly anymore due to my settings. We shall see. Give a couple of shout outs here in a second. See if anybody want to pull up on us. Let's see. Let's make sure we even live. We may not even be live, girls and boys. Yeah. Looks like we're live. One person watching. And one person gotta be me. Am I watching myself? Is it counting me as that one person? If not, salute. Welcome to Fly High Productions. Just here to see if I'm making any progress. And to see if we can give a few updates here. Talk about this manhunt that's still going on. What's that? Lewiston, Maine. Oh, come on now. Game don't want to keep buffering on me. Y'all watching the game out there? What's going on this Friday night? Y'all outside? If y'all outside, where y'all headed? Might want to pull up later. On my way to work. Just to see everything closed. And a lot's clearing off. Yeah, I might need to enlarge that a little bit. Let's see if that's me, if I got control of that. Anyway, like I said, salute, welcome to the building. It is I, Mr. Follow Up. We're going to follow up on this story here. Yesterday, I kept losing. To the building. I kept losing my live every time I would give you a little piece of information and try to come back to me. Then I went to another program. That program worked pretty smooth. I ain't gonna give no promos yet. I'm gonna wait till, So I got a little motion going on now. I'll make them give me a couple of ducats for promoting them, That's how it works out here. Networking is the game. And since, that I like their product. I wouldn't mind promoting it. No, I gotta look into it a little bit more. Uh, Anybody watching OKC and Cavaliers? 44-36 OKC. Anyway, y'all, I pulled up on y'all to say this. Oh, we 6 minutes until. I'll give a couple more minutes. See if anybody want to pull up on us, y'all. Before we get off into this story here. Which, yeah, like I say, day 2 of this manhunt going on here. Yeah, yep. Lewiston, Maine, I believe. We gonna make sure though, so don't quote me on that. I just want to make sure that giving you the proper information. I may be getting my stories mixed up, but that's why I bring it to you like this. Let's see what's going on here.
That doesn't mean, just because we're making announcements on over a PA system, that the individual is in there and we have an armed standoff and there are police swarming. There's just a lot of resources that it takes to work these scenes, right? I mean, I think that part of it, again, is common sense. And we want to be as forthright as we can around that as well. We won't be able to say every time we're hitting a location, and, hey, we're going to be at this spot, and because that's just not practical. And it's not safe for a lot of folks. So if you hear announcements in PA systems, as an example, a piece of that is us just giving notification that, yes, in fact, we are the police. We are going to be knocking on this door. We would like you to come out if you're in there. Some of that is case law oriented. Some of that is best practice. And some of that's just standard operating procedures from our end. So keep that in mind. If you have a question, you can certainly reach out to Shannon Moss. Many of you have, and if we can answer it, we will. It may not be immediate, but we're going to do the best we can to do that. And I think we'll be better at that, again, as we kind of get into this flow. Now we know what we're working with. It's starting to settle in as much as a tragedy like this can. And again, we want to be good partners with you across the board. So let me just take a look and make sure I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. I would also say that this is a big deal here, this particular link, and Shannon will be sending that out through her media list. So this is a digital tip line, and what a digital tip line would mean is anybody, yourselves included for whatever reason, if you've got a photo, if you've got a video of what happened, or something that you think is evidentiary in nature, you think that it would be valuable for us to have, you can upload that information through that link. And that link stems from best practice in other communities where tragedies like this have occurred, that a lot of people have a lot of information. Where does it go? Maybe this is the key. I don't think they know that. Or they probably do know that. 75 other people sent it to them. Send it to us anyway. And we want to see that information. So that's pictures, that's video, that's any of that kind of material to that particular link. And again, the QR code is something that we already talked about from a mapping perspective. I would say that our ongoing victim services efforts, that is something that we're working with victims' families, the community as a whole, and we are working with families that have currently been notified. We're continuing to identify victims in this case, and as those occur, additional resources will be available to the general community. I would say, again, as a little bit of a reminder, some searches you may see, well, why does that search have an armored vehicle involved, and then they're walking along the river, shoulder to shoulder. Some of those are going to be tactical ground searches versus just a kind of standard line search or grid search. The Maine Warden Service do this stuff all the time. They're incredible, searching for people, and incredibly valuable for us as it kind of expands out to evidence in many of these circumstances. We do clearly continue to have air assets, whether that's helicopters or planes, just because they're involved. Again, as we mentioned here, right? That's going to be an overview. They're just flying over that site. They may be hovered someplace else. Is that because we found the suspect? That's not a guarantee that that's the case at all. I would also tell you probably new information. Initially, that first night, we had 70-ish or so witnesses. The FBI has been incredibly helpful with things that may sound as simple as you've got to transcribe 70-plus witness statements. They're bringing a lot of resources to play, and so we're continuing to do a lot of that work behind the scenes as well. I think that the shelter-in-place order, right, that's currently in place for Lewiston, Auburn, Lisbon, and Bowdoin. When you hear the names of those communities, obviously you know that a lot of our focus, a lot of what occurred in those communities, whether it's Bowdoin because that's where the suspect's house was, Lisbon where the car was located, or Lewiston, Auburn, some conversation earlier about Auburn locations, and Lewiston where the focus of those first two tragic active shooter situations occurred. That's an ongoing conversation that we'll have every minute of every day. Does it make sense that those orders are still in place? And can we relax those, change those? They have not been changed in any way at this point, but we realize that we want to keep our community safe. So that's again, the forefront of our minds. But we know that a shelter-in-place order in general, similar to orders around.
Introducing the Ungun, the non-lethal self-defense platform. Lightweight and simple to use. It uses an easy-to-load 5-round magazine and is powered by an 8-gram CO2 cartridge. Byrna launchers fire a 68 caliber chemical-filled projectile using a patented pull-pierce technology where the CO2 canister is only punctured on the first trigger pull.
Is how portable and compact it is.
In that healing process. It's not a slam dunk. It's not when we got them, now everybody's better. This is going to take a while, right? It's going to take a while for communities to work through. It's going to take forever for families to work through. You lose somebody that you love. That's a big, big deal. So I don't want to get lost in the minutia of this is what we're doing and this is a map and it's a QR code. It always comes back to this other stuff for us. So again, we're going to try the Q&A deal and see where we go. Go ahead, right here.
There were reports that you all found a note at his home. Do you know the contents of the note? Can you share that?
Yeah, so we've heard the same thing, and there was a note at one of these residences. I'm not prepared to really talk about what that included. And I think that's probably, again, a common sense answer because that does involve, is there a mindset here? Is there a motive? What did that entail? So we'll definitely continue to work on that, and when we can release it, we certainly will.
Sir.
Right here, sir.
Commissioner, so in reference specifically to what's behind you and what's going on at the river, is there any information that you have that's leading you in the direction that he may have killed himself and his body is in there, or is it just one of the possibilities?
Well, I think one of the possibilities is key, right? Because clearly we don't have him located at this point. We don't have him in custody. So all of those options are on the table. We certainly don't want to wait too long because the river is a big piece of this. The car was located there. Evidence is located in the vehicle or right there along the shores of the Androscoggin River. So that's stuff that we want to make sure that we're checking, and we're using the resources that we have available. We're using the expertise that we have available with the dive team and all our partners to make sure we're checking that. At the same time, right, we're checking all these other things. We're working through the crime lab on this other information. So all of those things are occurring at the same time. I would also state, and I want to make sure that I say this because they've been very, very helpful. The Brookfield Power Company owns 2 dams, operates 2 dams in this area. And they've been very cooperative. You know, they live it every day. So as an example, one of the things that we're doing, the river currently runs at like 8,500 cubic square feet per second. And when they tighten the dam tools down, they actually lower that down to like 5,500 cubic feet, right? Does that mean anything to you? What it means to us is that that current, if we can slow that current down, we can lower the amount of water in the river. It's certainly easier for us to work. It's easier for our divers to see in clearer water than muddier water. If it's a foot lower than it was before, it's easier for us to work. And there's different searches, obviously, but unfortunately people lose their lives in bodies of water on a regular basis. So this is something that we're trying to dial in. But yes, sir, right here. Yep.
Deer hunting starts tomorrow.
Yeah, it sure does, yep.
Can you address that?
Yeah, sure. So I've had conversations with Commissioner Camuso, Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. Judy's great. We are having those conversations. I would expect to hear more about that later in the day. It's a big deal in Maine. It may not be a big deal for a lot of people from other communities, but we know what that's going to look like. We also know we're in the woods. You know, if you just happen to be in the woods, minding your own business, going for a walk, that's going to make us a little concerned, right? So it's definitely a good question. It's something that we're actively working on. Right here, sir.
You're talking about this tremendous amount of assets here and the search for him. Can you talk about the pressure you guys are feeling to find him, to give this community some sense of answers as this enters its 3rd day? Yeah,
sure. I think, you know, pressure is one way to put it. I mean, we're concerned about the victims, their families, and our communities. I'm concerned every day, 24/7, 365, at this point for 30 years. That's why I got into this business. We do want to help people. We do want to make them safe. Making them safe and making them feel safe may not necessarily be the same thing either, right? Because I think our law enforcement partners, our first responders around the state, everybody is dialed in. They do that all day, every day. This is clearly a completely different animal. So for us, we want to make sure that we bring this individual to custody. But we got to do it right. We got to do it the safe way. Don't want to see anybody else get hurt. Certainly our people and our community members. So we want to make sure that we do that right. We're not going to be rushed, but we're running right on that level. That we're going to work as hard as we can, as fast as we can, with as many resources as we can to try to bring some kind of closure. Right here, man.
understand that the family is being cooperative. What are they telling you?
Oh, I think that whether you see the 530 tips and leads overall, I think we're seeing a lot of cooperation across the board. I'm not going to speak to anybody in particular, but I think there's a lot of cooperation. There's a lot of compassion here. There's empathy that people understand what happened here, not only to the victims, but again to the state and to our country. So people are coming forward. They are participating in the process, and that's just the nature of the beast. But I'm not sure I answered it, so go ahead and follow up.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Specifically the family of the suspect. They understand
Yep.
they are cooperating. What are they telling you, and how are they helping you in the investigation?
Yeah, so I won't speak, again, specifically to what anybody said one way or the other, but we do appreciate everybody's cooperation, because we know that this is difficult for everybody. No matter how you could be the neighbor of somebody. This is tough for people to digest and to understand and to try to work through.
Commissioner,
So, right here, sir. Right here.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yep.
Specifically warning. Forget about information. Families told multiple news outlets there were warnings provided to law enforcement. Which agencies received those warnings, and did you think at any point that it might warrant the yellow flag pursuit?
Well, I'm heavily involved in the yellow flag conversation overall, but the reality for today is I'm not going to talk specifically about who knew what and when. We're still actively involved in a very dynamic situation here, and we're focused on an individual that currently has 8 warrants out for murder. We're trying to figure that part out, trying to bring him into justice, as well as investigate this crime. There will be a time
Can you
when
confirm
we're...
the warning, though? Can you confirm warnings were issued?
I cannot confirm that.
Yesterday,
Sir, right here, you-
Yesterday, the Senator Collins said that the yellow flag law should have been enforced in this situation. So as you stand here today, what is your response to that? And also, as you stand here today, was law enforcement notified of the threats that he was making, of his condition? Were they aware of it, and what steps were taken to investigate that?
Yeah, I appreciate the question, and Senator Collins is great. We have a great federal delegation that works incredibly hard on behalf of the state of Maine. I don't know exactly what the good senator said. I respect her a great deal, so I won't answer to any comments that she made. If that's her perspective, based on what she knows through the general public or otherwise, then that's fine. She certainly has the right to do that. But based on what I've seen, we're going to continue to work through that. We asked good questions. It may have been you, sir, around the firearm itself, and there's going to be an opportunity. The ATF is here. The ATF is working with us. They have been there since the first second. There's going to be an opportunity to answer all those questions and figure out, so was that a violation or not? It's also an opportunity from an educational standpoint to talk about what that really means, what that really looks like, and what the options, in fact, are.
Right. The thing is that folks want to know.
I'm going to go over here, though, sir, so I appreciate the follow-up and the initial question. You
Talk about timeline yesterday. 911 calls. Do you have the precise times that police arrived on the scene?
arrived? No. So it was 6:56 for the initial call, and then 7:08 for the second call. Multiple calls for each location. And so that's what I had. I don't know exactly when they arrived, other than to say these calls in any scenario are a priority, to say the least. So everybody's going, and they're going as fast as humanly possible. So that's the. I'm not done answering the first question. So was that enough?
in St. Louis City, including 2 murders and 2 children shot. Among the latest, a homicide late last night.
Power of Two's Chris Ring.